Ronda Rousey shockingly made her debut for ROH, plus so much more. It's coming up right here on the Angle Show. Don't forget, I'm giving away this championship belt at 100,000 subscribers. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TAS. I want to kick things off with Axiom. He made his WWE Smackdown main roster debut, but is he really called up to the main roster? He had a fantastic match against Dragon Lee on Smackdown. Amazing effort by Axiom. WWE continuing to build up a lot of value for Dragon Lee. But if you're wondering, does this mean Axiom is getting called up to the main roster? It does not. So what WWE is doing is they have a strategy in which you will see main roster stars on NXT. We have seen that. Now, in regards to talent from NXT, we will also see them from time to time on the main roster, and it's going to be WWE's way of utilizing them in a role where even if they take the pinfall, even if they take the loss, it's not going to be damaging to their career, but then also it's a chance to get them an opportunity to be discovered in front of the WWE Universe. And in this case, between Axiom and, of course, Dragon Lee, maybe the fans aren't too aware of who both of these guys are, and the crowd was going crazy. The crowd had a very nice reaction to this match, and I think this is WWE also reconditioning the audience to understand, yes, we have good characters and storytelling, but we're also going to have good wrestling matches. You're going to get a combination of both. It is going to be beautiful. And I think that is a very good strategy on WWE's end. You got to remember, Vince McMahon, notorious for having 2-minute matches, constant DQs, constant bullshit finishes, constant storylines getting dropped. WWE has to slowly fix that and recondition the audience to understand that things have changed. And that is one of the most beautiful things about Triple H taking over the company in a creative capacity, is that you get these great matches between guys like Axiom and Dragon Lee, which we all know under Vince McMahon's WWE, this would never slide. This would never happen. It would never be a thing that's done. And honestly, I give WWE a lot of props for being able to make this work. And more importantly, it's a good chance for people. As much as it benefits Axiom, it also benefits Dragon Lee, because you don't have to rush Dragon Lee's main roster call-up. You allow him to wrestle. You allow the crowd to get acclimated to who he is, and you do that with video packages. You do that with matches, and good matches, might I add. You do this consistently enough, people will get bought in, and ultimately, I think it's a great strategy. For the short term, it could sting, right? It could sting a little bit for the short term, but for the long term, both people benefit from it, and I like the strategy for WWE. Test out the guys that you trust, and you got to remember, Axiom, WWE veteran at this point. He was part of NXT UK as a kid, and this guy is just so good at what he does that, like, he became Axiom in NXT 2.0, and WWE made this change, and then you see him on the main roster, and you see the presentation, and you see the wrestling, and you see all this stuff, and you're like, damn. Like, this is some fire stuff. So, good on WWE for making that happen. Guys, several months ago, we talked about Odyssey Jones joining the new faction with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Well, obviously, WWE has never done that yet, but in a big update, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select answered in a Q&A that he was being discussed for the Lashley Street Profits stable, and he says that he thinks that Odyssey Jones had even had the message relayed to him. Obviously, we haven't seen Odyssey Jones on the main roster. He got drafted, never got utilized, and you really got to factor in what WWE is doing, because on television, they're teasing some stuff potentially with B-Fab joining the group or something. She wants to talk in private with the Hurt Business. She wants to talk in private with Bobby Lashley. But that leads me to believe that perhaps WWE is going to really beef up this group and try to make them a big unit. And again, it's kind of a slow burn. We are in the slow burn era of WWE. And if you do not have the ability to be patient with stories being developed over time, then I think this is not the product for you. If you want satisfaction immediately, if you want that instant gratification to what you're watching, WWE is not going to do that. They want to hook you in and reel you in slowly. And by doing that, they should be able to uncover multiple stories, developing multiple talents at the same time. And when you do this on a consistent basis, I think there's a lot of long-term advantages. It kind of goes to what I was saying about Axiom and Dragon Lee. In the short term, it could sting because especially people want instant gratification. Dragon Lee gets called up. Odyssey Jones gets called up. Creed Brothers get called up. People are like, well, they're not world champion. They're a bust. And that's not how it works. People need to stop thinking for instant gratification. What they really need to do is start thinking about the stories and characters being developed. Because at the end of the day, when you introduce new faces, you have to do it in a way that is clever. And one of the biggest mistakes that WWE used to make, Triple H was running NXT, Vince McMahon was running WWE. NXT would develop these guys, Vince McMahon would change everything. And we have gotten to the point where WWE has eliminated that. Shawn Michaels and Triple H are very in line with what they are trying to accomplish. And the good news for that is that it has resulted in a better product. And if it results in a better product, fans are happy. And right now, fans are incredibly happy. Odyssey Jones, this guy right here, when I seen him in NXT, I was pretty impressed. This guy had some good energy, good presence, you know. And the thing is, you put him with Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. I like that idea. I still like that idea. And it's cool because Odyssey Jones is relatively unknown to the audience. He didn't have a large stint in NXT, and he sure as hell hasn't been on the main roster since the draft. In fact, he was drafted to Raw. I'm hoping WWE is smart enough to explain that. But nonetheless, Odyssey Jones in the group. It's in motion. We'll see what happens. And that brings us to our final topic of today's video, guys. Ronda Rousey was backstage for Collision. She didn't debut on Collision or Rampage. No, she debuted at the ROH tapings. From WrestleManias to ROH. I'll let you guys make your own opinions on that. If you want to know my opinion on that, I think it is very, very silly. I think it is very silly, and it is absolutely amazing. I'm not going to lie. I get a kick out of it. I love watching social media become hypocrites. When you bury Ronda Rousey in WWE, but she comes to AEW, ROH, and it's like, oh my God, she's the best wrestler in the world. But they were talking about how she wasn't a good wrestler in WWE. At the end of the day, I'm happy that Ronda Rousey's going to do whatever the hell she wants. But at the same time, too, why ROH? That's my thing, is why ROH? ROH is dead. There is no value in ROH. The only thing that Ring of Honor has going for themselves are two things. Eddie Kingston's their champion, and two, Athena and Billy Starks, right? Yeah. So, like, I see this. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. Great women's storyline. Love the world champion. That stuff should be on AEW television, not on ROH Stream Club, Watch ROH, whatever the hell they're calling their streaming app. That is behind a paywall. People don't have it. Nobody's really buying it. Nobody's buying tickets for ROH Final Battle at this time. Why would Ronda Rousey go to ROH? I don't know. I don't think it's a good thing for Ronda Rousey being, former women's champion, WWE Evolution, WrestleManias, the amount of stuff that she accomplished in WWE, whether you like her or not, it doesn't change the fact that she has massive accomplishments. You see those accomplishments in real time. To go to ROH, it's weird. It's such a strange decision. If you like it, cool, I'm happy for you. I would like to see Ronda Rousey on Dynamite. I would like to see Ronda Rousey getting in the mix with Hikaru Shida and Britt Baker and all of the other great women that are in that company. Why ROH? I don't know. But again, I also don't want to see Athena in ROH. I want to see Athena being longest reigning women's champion on Dynamite for AEW, not Ring of Honor. There is no value in Ring of Honor. Nobody can convince me that there is value in Ring of Honor. The company is dead. There is nothing special about it. There's a couple things that I like. Otherwise, it is a glorified version of AEW Dark and Dark Elevation. And instead, they have a lot of talent being used there. Put them on TV. They are good enough. And I don't understand. I don't understand. But hey, Ronda Rousey's back.